Folks, you're not going to believe it. This week, we've landed the motherlode of automotive memorabilia.
There's not enough time in our lives to show you everything we got here, but we're going to do our very best.
Yep, we're here in Terre Haute, Indiana, just outside of it, at a place called Donnieland. And believe you me, it's got all kind of automotive history to it. We're going to show you that and a lot more coming up next here on Griot's Garage Treasures.
Hey, I'm going this way, buddy.
I'm headed over here, bud.
I want to go in this building.
No, this is where all the good stuff is. Hey, welcome to Griot's Garage Treasures. Well, we're here at Don Smith's collection, and this is one of the many buildings that he has full of automotive memorabilia. When I talk about memorabilia, boy, take a look at this. I swear to God, he didn't throw anything away. He's got all kinds of stuff here. Old National Cash Register that he's got, and look at this right over here. You can't get any more Americana than a soapbox derby car. Uh-oh, I found something right up here that I want to check out. This is something you'll always see. This is a 110 cubic inch, often housed midget engine. Used these in the midgets, you know, after World War II. Up through the 50s, it was a real popular engine until it got outclassed with some other later engines like Volkswagen. Here's something you don't see very often. This is a Crosley engine. Now, Crosley is out of Cincinnati, Ohio, made radios, refrigerators, you name it. They were a big manufacturer of all kind of household products, but they always wanted to make a car, and they did. And this engine's unique because it has just a steel plate block, wasn't a cast iron block. Consequently, these things rusted through. These engines didn't last very long. This is rare that you find one like this. And look, we got all these boat motors here, all these antique outboard engines. Look what you see here, a nice collection of midgets. These are midget race cars, and guess what they're powered by? With Volkswagen engines, and they were pretty good too. Now they're pretty good in indoor races, but they don't hold a candle to the engines the guys are running now. Well, Sam, I've got a challenge for you. See if you can match this, bud.
Well, Dave, I'll tell you, Volkswagen engines are real popular in these sprints, but this is where they really started. This is a 1930s midget. It was built and raced on the East Coast by Harry Hull. This has got a V8 60 flathead in it. There's a lot of guys trying to build replicas of these cars. This car was raced all over the country. But the deal is, it was sold to a guy just before World War II, was never raced again, was in storage, pulled out of storage, and in 2009, it was restored back to the day it was made.
We got that midget from Russ Gamester, who is a USAC sprint car and a Silver Crown driver who's been sponsored by First Financial Bank for many years. And he rebuilt that car and brought it to my grandfather about 2 years ago.
If you're gonna race, you gotta have safety people and you gotta have safety equipment. Look at this, a 1951 Cadillac. This is a Superior ambulance. Look at this baby. This, by the way, is a manual transmission Cadillac. 3 pedals, got a clutch.
The ambulance I can remember as a very young child when my grandfather promoted races at the Terre Haute Action Track. The way I believe the liability insurance read that he had to have 2 ambulances on premises, and so he found this Cadillac ambulance and bought it and brought it down to the track and set it there, so it fulfilled the requirements of having 2 ambulances on site, even though there was no one in the second ambulance, and he kept the ambulance ever since.
This is really a piece of history. It's got working lights and a siren. It's an awesome car, real big. But Davey, to keep your piece short, Dave, when you come back, I'm gonna share with you a really rare car, and I'm gonna tell you just a little bit more about it.
Okay, Sam, you know what? People always say how tall I am. You know, this guy, you can't beat Uncle Sam. They've got everything in this museum. One of the things that catches my eye is this little sprint car right here. Now, this was specially made up to do some exhibition driving. They made it like the old Sumar cars, same color scheme and everything. By the way, Sumar is a combination of Sue and Mary, the owner's wives. This car, though, this is the one I really like. It's an old Champ dirt car they ran back in the 60s. And believe it or not, I worked with the guy that drove this, Johnny Rutherford. No roll cage on it back then. Just had a small block Chevy in it. It was owned by J.H. Rose, who owned a trucking company. But this is a beautiful car. I love the lines of this car. But Sam, you're not going to believe it. I found a mobile gas pump. Beat that, buddy.
You know, talk about sprint cars, Davey. Here's a real early one. This is a 20s model. It's a bobtail sprint. Little 4-cylinder. This car was raced from 1925 to 1929 in the Eastern Atlantic Series. Awesome little car. Now it's totally restored. But you know, racing and having a great race car is one thing, but getting to the racetrack in style Look at this, about a 48 Packard wagon, a woody wagon.
It's kind of an accident. My grandfather runs a bank, and they bought a smaller bank. Found out the previous bank owner had this car stashed away in a garage somewhere, so my grandfather's focus primarily became on that car that was available. He didn't care much about what was happening with the bank purchase. He just wanted to make sure that that car came to the collection, and he ended up getting it.
This car is gorgeous. Not a stitch of rust in it. Got the wide white walls. The wood's all been done. It's got a beautiful blue velour interior. Packards were known for their durability, the way they were put together, a lot of class. This is an awesome car. What a great tow car this would make. And you know, Dave, you're talking about all your race cars, but I've got something over here that'll stop your race car. We got a lot more coming here on Griot's Garage Treasures. Don't you dare go away.
Griot's Garage is car care for the perfectionist. Whether you're cleaning a daily driver or perfecting the paint on your dream car, Griot's Garage makes a full line of products to get it done. From paint and chrome to wheels and tires, we make it, we teach it, we guarantee it. Shop for the hard-to-buy-for car enthusiast on your list and have fun in your garage at griotsgarage.com.
This edition of Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist. And by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology. And by Advanced Auto Parts, service is our best part.
Welcome back to Griot's Garage Treasures. You know, I'm in a garage here. I'm having so much fun. There's so much to see. Take a look at this car now. This is an example of what basically you'd call an independent. You know, DeLorean built a DeLorean. This was Malcolm Bricklin's Bricklin.
Boy, I think it was back early 80s. The Bricklins were quite popular back then, and I saw this car for sale. Didn't even have my driver's license, riding with my dad one day, and told my grandfather about it. And of course, he acted like he had no interest, and he ended up going and buying it without me knowing at the time, and came back and surprised me and gave it to my dad to drive for a while. So we had a lot of fun with it at the time.
It was kind of an AMC platform, fiberglass body, gull wing doors, pop-up headlights, alloy wheels. It was pretty sexy, but fit and finish wasn't there, and the car wasn't a real success. But we got something here, a great specimen. This is an MG T-Series. I think this is a TD, but it could be a TF. Look at this car. It's a right-hand driver. Think about this, too. Right after World War II, when all the GIs were coming home, they had spent a lot of time in England. The sports car craze was created by this car right here.
The MG came from a friend in Bloomington, Indiana. He had a small car collection. I asked him if he had interest in selling it, and at the time he didn't. And probably within a year or so, he called and said, hey, I'd like to sell it. And of course, we jumped on the opportunity.
Big swoopy fenders, shiny wire wheels, a nice long hood with louvers, open cockpit. Take the top off this on a beautiful summer night. It's great to drive. It's got 2 spares on the back. This is an awesome specimen. I'd like to drive this car around. This could be a lot of fun in my garage too. Now, Davey, he's in sprint car and race car wonderland. He can't stop. Let's go catch up with him.
Hey, Sam, if you think that's something, look what I found here. I found your knight in shining armor. Anyway, I've got a collection of Indy cars here you can't believe. This is an example of a Watson Roadster. Now, this is supposed to be driven by A.J. Foyt. This is actually a replica. These are always probably one of the most beautiful Indy cars I've ever seen. I've always thought they were my favorite. This is a car that Scott Sharp drove. We got an Eagle here. This is about a 67 Eagle that Roger McCluskey drove, the G.C. Murphy car. I remember this car well because I was there at the Speedway at the time for that. The Conseco car, I believe this is one that Jimmy Vasser drove and Roberto Guerrero drove this one, but this is my favorite right over here. This is a PC-17. This is chassis number 1, and this is kind of the prototype of the cars that Rick Mears and Danny Sullivan drove at Indianapolis. Now, this car competed from 88 to 89, and it was restored by another Indy legend chief mechanic, George Bignotti. Let's see you top that one, Sam.
Well, Davey, you want some rare cars? I'll give you some rare cars. Look at this nice Corvair. This is a Monza, 140 horsepower, 4-speed car, wire wheel hubcaps, in really nice shape. This is a fun car to drive. These come out in 1960, the early ones, and they were having problems with the front end, and the front end would get away from you. This is what caused Ralph Nader to write the book, Unsafe at Any Speed. By the time this year, 65 rolled around, GM had that pretty well sorted out.
Corvair is one of the first passenger cars that my grandfather bought. I can remember that, and he took it and had it totally restored. and it's been in the collection, hasn't been out probably in the last 25 years, but it's a car that you don't see very often, and the restoration on it was a very good job.
Now, this looks like your basic S10 Blazer, but it's not. Look at the little bodywork on it. This is a Typhoon. This had a 4.3-liter Vortec V6 with a turbocharger, all-wheel drive. These cars were fast. This had a bigger engine than the 3.8 Turbo Grand National.
The Typhoon was a vehicle that I really liked, and it came from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It was one of the pace vehicles. I believe it was 1990, if I'm not mistaken. And I ended up getting this Typhoon from the Speedway when the race was over, and I drove it as my personal vehicle for several years, and then we put it in the collection.
Hey, Davey, got something over here. Look at this Chevrolet Vega with a Cosworth head on it. Got some Weber carburetors, headers. It's a 4-speed car, little GT body. These cars were fast as can be and a lot of fun to drive. You could really slide these things around.
Being from the racing circles, we wanted to put that in the collection as well, and had not seen any of those cars around, especially in this area.
And over here, another little American sports car. This is a little Fiero GT. These things were real popular. In the beginning, they had some problems, you know, but it finally caught on. And by the time they finished the last run, they had the V6 GT model. They'd taken care of the front end, fixed the brakes, neat little cars. And now this whole Fiero club that are putting small block V8s in these things, they're making a real rocket ship out of them. Another thing they do is they'll take this car, they'll put a Testarossa body kit on it. If it's done right, and it's painted red with the prancing horse, it'll look like a little Ferrari. So this is some great American iron right here. Matches up with what you got, Dave.
You know, as you just walk down the aisle, there is all kind of memorabilia anywhere you go. I mean, who wouldn't want a horse that looks like this? But he's got all types of pictures here, drivers in action. If you look along here, a whole row of sprint cars. Many of these I remember watching racing at Eldora and Winchester and so forth. This is what I like right here. He's even got decoys sitting up here. Whole collection of cartridges, beautiful collection of knives here, and you keep on going and going. It's unbelievable. Anywhere you look in here, you see something different or unique. But what collection wouldn't be complete without something like this? We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna be right back. Stay with us because we got a lot more coming.
With more than 22 years of experience, Griot's Garage is car care for the perfectionist. Whether you're cleaning a daily driver or perfecting the paint on your dream car, Griot's Garage makes a full line of products to suit all your car care needs. From paint and upholstery to wheels and tires, leather and carpet, glass and chrome. Car care liquids made in the USA and backed by our promise. We make it, we teach it, we guarantee it. Have fun in your garage at griotsgarage.com.
Wow, look at this. Can't you just see Matt Dillon crawling out of this stagecoach? What a beautiful piece. This is rare.
It is a replica. It's not an actual original stagecoach, but my grandfather liked it and wanted to do some advertising with it for the bank until he realized another national bank was already using a stagecoach in their promotional, and thought better-wise that we probably shouldn't use that for the bank.
Cloverport stage lines is what this is. Up here is where the driver would sit. This is the brake handle, by the way. It's hooked to a lever that goes back here. Now this is tech braking at its best. All it is a big pad that they push against the wheel. Hopefully they can get this thing stopped. This is a rare piece. I got something rare here, Sam. What have you got?
Church pews, Davey, church pews. Right here, he's got a collection of antique golf clubs. And if you look up and hanging from the rafters, he's got model airplanes, got some P-51s hanging up there, one of my favorite airplanes. Got a whole collection of vintage World War II aircraft models. But look at this, place your bets. I'm gonna show you some other stuff I bet you hadn't seen.
Every once in a while when we have people in for tours, we open it up and have a little bit of fun. Of course, we don't do any actual wagering, but it's fun to play with.
Look at these lawn and garden tractors. Got an antique wheel horse up there at the front. Now they use these at the racetrack. You see they got the Indy 500 markings all over them. Not to cut grass. They run people around. They push cars around. They drag the pit wagons. These things come in handy, and he's got them from all different years. Now back here, here's a car you don't see too much of. This is a Cadillac Alante.
My grandfather has always kind of had a fascination with Cadillac, and the Alante was one of the pace cars for the Indianapolis 500. And we have not been able to obtain one of those for our collection, but the Alante came available, and just decided that he thought that we needed to have it, and I wasn't quite too sure, but now we have it.
This is when they were trying to make a sports car. It doesn't have a real sophisticated engine. It's got the 4.5 liter pushrod motor in it. This was called the GM10 series. The body was made in Italy by Pininfarina, real Italian styling. It's got a removable hard top like a Benz. It's also got a soft top, but I've actually tried to put one of them together. It's an erector set. It wasn't real fast, it wasn't real stylish and sexy, so the car was not real successful. Then they came back with the XLR, based off the Corvette platform, but it had carbon fiber, it was supercharged. Heck of a little sports car, if you like the look. So that's what we got here for American Iron. Top that, Davey.
But I'll bet you don't have this. This is a wooden Chris Craft runabout. And what a beautiful boat this is. It's all mahogany, all wood, all the way through. And look at the finish on this thing. I don't think this gets in the water very often.
We've never had it in the water, but when my grandfather was younger, his father had a Chris Craft boat that they went to in Lake Wawasee in Indiana when he was a child. And he has a lot of fond memories, and he's always wanted a Chris Craft boat.
You got beautiful cushions in here. Here's the engine cover that's got a Marine V8 in there. Gives it nice power. Look at the antique steering wheel, the old Chris Craft gauges, the marine chrome fittings here for the windshield. This is a beautiful boat to have for the lake on a Sunday afternoon if you're cruising around. You notice nice mahogany inlay with your blonde wood over here gives it a nice shot. And of course, your navigation light. One thing about these wooden boats that a lot of people don't realize, there's no drain plug in them. Because it's wood, what'll happen is water will gradually get in there. It helps swell the wood, close up the seams, makes it watertight. That's why you usually keep wooden boats in the water all the time. Believe it or not, they still make these kind of boats. They're very expensive. I'm not sure about the wooden part of it, but I do know they make them in fiberglass that'll look almost identical to this, but they do cost a lot of money. But for my money, if I could find one like this, I think I would love to have it. That'd be a good reason for me to get back in boating. Take that one, Sam. Let's see you top it.
Yeah, Davey, but look what's towing that boat. 55 Packard Caribbean convertible. This was sort of the end of the line for Packard. A big luxury car. I mean, there's more metal in this than in a whole truckload of imports today. Now, these cars were all tri-colored with kind of a gray, then a coral or pink, and then this creamy white with an interior to match. Had dual spotlights, power steering, power top, power doors and windows. And this was just a big old V8 car that drove down the road, had dual antennas on the back. The exhaust comes through the rear bumper. In the front, it's got the chrome Dagmars on the bumper. And you see a lot of these restored. This was some really nice luxury. Unfortunately, it didn't work at the time. Other marques were taking the business away from Packard, and this was kind of their last hurrah. But now we need to take a break. Excuse me while I go in here and put on my cape. We'll be right back.
This edition of Griot's Garage Treasures is being brought to you by Griot's Garage, car care for the perfectionist. And by Advance Auto Parts, service is our best part. And by Borla, the world's most winning exhaust.
Welcome back. I'm just having so much fun in this guy's collection garage. Stuff everywhere. Look at these antique potbelly stoves. This is a number 153 hot blast airtight Florence. Gorgeous piece. I mean, this is all this stuff here is nickel. I'd love to have this in my garage. Look at this refrigerator. It's an old General Electric. This one had the compressor and the coil on top. You had your controls here and had the little bitty freezer compartment, but you could still put a lot of beer in it. They sure have changed a lot. What hasn't changed is this guy's love of automobiles. Look at this Model A. It's a 1930 Model A Roadster, totally restored. It's got a beautiful interior. This thing had roll-up windows, inside release door handles, and it's just really nice. But what makes this a nice car, besides being well restored, is this is a rumble seat Roadster. And of course, right down here in the rear bumper bracket, you had your first step, which led you to the next step up here. Then you stepped inside. Wonderful rumble seat, sometimes called the mother-in-law seat. But you know, this car is really great. I've got a lot more to look at here. Let's have some fun in your garage.
Griot's Garage wants you to have fun in your garage. Now, here's your car care tip of the week with Richard Griot.
This week, to make sure you have fun in your garage, we're going to talk about getting your wheels totally spotless. And having the right wheel cleaners make a huge difference and make it fast, fun, and easy. Wheel Cleaner's environmentally friendly concentrated power eliminates tough scrubbing, and it's endorsed by BBS Wheels, the Tire Rack, and Dayton Wire Wheel Company. Chrome Wheel Cleaner's natural citrus oils are specially formulated to cut through brake dust and road grime. When you begin, make sure the wheel is cool to the touch, rinse the wheel, and evenly apply the cleaner. Next, agitate the cleaner with any one of our great cleaning tools. To finish up, just rinse thoroughly and dry using a soft microfiber towel. For very dirty, brake dust covered wheels, use our heavy-duty wheel cleaner. Repeat the normal wheel cleaning process. Notice how the thick solution clings to your wheel, powering through grime. Wait 3 to 5 minutes and watch how it changes color as it works before agitating and rinsing. With a cleaner for every type of wheel and an extensive line of cleaning tools, you'll experience car care perfection every time.
You guys got a collection of these little Legends cars. Now this is a low-buck form of racing, but it's pretty serious racing. Got super powerful overhead cam motorcycle engines in them. These things go well. And I remember years ago when I first met Reed Sorensen, he was the national semi-pro champ in Legends cars for a little kid. When I met him, he was 13, I think, and had something like 330 checkers already. Dave's always wanted one of these. He loves them. He's always wanted to drive a Legends car. You know, sometimes people have this in their mind. It's something they want to do. Now, I'd have to take him to the plasma cutter and take about 3 feet off his legs to get him in one of these, but look at this car. Pretty nice looking, black, well prepared. Larry Bird's Boston Connection, you know something? Dave's gone to the bank. Maybe he's gonna get some money to buy one of these. Let's check him out.
Hey, that's right, Sam. I'm here at First Financial, a bank. Now, this is a bank that the Don Smith family had founded. Now, the reason I'm here is because of this car right here. This is known as the Sumar Streamliner. Now, there's a little bit of story behind this. The original Streamliner was built back in 1955 and ran at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And back in those days, you can see that there was a lot of innovation that took place to try to go faster. Not a lot of rules, but it gave a lot of opportunity to create and try different things. Well, people at Chapman Root decided to build a Streamliner. This is a replica of that car. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to enclose in, see if they could make it go faster. Well, as it turned out, it didn't go faster. The driver was Jimmy Daywalt. He finally got it qualified, but to do so, they ended up stripping all of these fenders and everything off of it. He made the race, finished all right, but then later on, they decided to take it down to Daytona to try for a closed course record. Well, they did. Marshall Teague was the driver. They put all the bearings back on it. He went down, and he set a closed course record of over 171 miles an hour. Well, he wasn't satisfied with that. He thought he could go out and beat that. So he did. As it turned out, this was 1959. He went out, tried it again. This time, car got away from him. He ended up getting killed doing that. The original car is there on display in Daytona Beach right now. But this is a replica. It was made by some artists in Indianapolis, and what a beautiful job it is. It's got a 270 Offie in it. It's got a Halbrand quick change rear end in it. Got a 2-speed gearbox in it. Quite a piece of work. What a beautiful car it is. Well, I don't know about Sam. I don't know where he went. But I can tell you this, we're starting to run out of time. I hope you've enjoyed our tour through Indiana and some of the great classic cars and race cars we've seen. Looks like somebody's had a lot of fun in their garage. We hope you have a lot of fun in yours. We'll see you next time.